morning. I'm Christine Crook, a Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors volunteer for the Fair Housing and Diversity Committee. Last year, the National Association of Realtors made some changes to the Code of Ethics. The new or amended policies can be grouped in three broad categories. 1, changes to the Code of Ethics applicability to a realtor's activities. 2, a new standard of practice under Article 10 prohibiting discriminatory speech and conduct, and 3, revisions to the definition of public trust. Let's take a closer look at these changes to further understand exactly what they are and what they mean to us as realtors. Changes to the Code of Ethics, applicability to a realtor's activities. Prior to the 2020 changes, only actions and words that occurred during real estate related activities and transactions involving realtors were applicable to the Code of Ethics. That meant that unless the conduct and speech could be tied to a real estate related activity or transaction, the Code of Ethics did not apply. The change that occurred and became active in January of 2021 is that the applicability of the Code of Ethics expands to all of a realtor's activities. However, some articles and standards of practice do remain specific to real estate transactions and other related activities. New standard of practice under Article 10. The most notable change to the Code of Ethics that applies to all realtor activities is the standard of practice under Article 10, specifically Standard of Practice 10-5, which states, realtors must not use harassing speech, hate speech, epithets, or slurs based on race, color, religion, sex, handicapped, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. This is derived directly from the requirement to not deny equal professional services or be parties to a plan to discriminate. This means that bias against protected classes that is shown through public posting of hate speech potentially results in realtors not working with clients that may be from those protected classes or not treating them equally. This would lead to violations of the Fair Housing Act due to discrimination or disparate impact. Revisions to the definition of public trust. The definition of public trust has been expanded to include all discrimination against protected classes and all fraud as under Article 10 of the Code of Ethics. This means that associations are required to notify state licensing authorities when final ethics decisions holding realtors in violation of the Code of Ethics, where matters involve real estate related activities and transactions, have a reason to believe that public trust may have been violated. These changes to the Code of Ethics have caused many questions to surface. The National Association of Realtors has responded to some of these common questions, and I will go over a few in their responses here today. The new standard of practice seems to limit my right to free speech as established by the First Amendment of the Constitution. How can NAR legally adopt a policy like this? The First Amendment provides that neither the United States Congress nor any state may abridge the freedom of speech of American citizens. With some exceptions, the First Amendment does not prohibit a private organization from restricting the speech of its members, employees, or users. NAR is a private association and is supported by dues from members. It is not exercising any governmental function and has no subpoena power or other powers generally available to state agencies. As such, the First Amendment does not preclude NAR from imposing this ethical duty as a condition of membership. I should be able to say whatever I want on my personal social media profile. It doesn't impact my ability to do my job. Why is what I say there now subject to the code? This is going too far. The NAR Board of Directors discussed that a realtor's speech and conduct reflect on the realtor organization, whether said publicly on a business social media profile or privately on a personal one. According to the preamble of the Code of Ethics, realtors should be guided by the spirit of the Golden Rule. of treating others as one would like to be treated. When a realtor pledges to abide by the Code of Ethics, the highest principles and ethics of realtors must be followed in all their activities and cannot be abandoned in a profession dedicated to protecting the best interest of consumers. Put simply, when one realtor engages in discriminatory speech and conduct, those actions demonstrate to consumers that they represent the actions of realtors collectively. The realtor brand is built on ethics and integrity. Discriminatory speech and conduct, to the contrary, depletes the strength of the realtor brand. Standard of Practice 10-5 does not seem to have anything to do with Article 10. I'm able to say what I want and still not discriminate against clients that are members of a protected class. How does this new standard of practice fit? Standard of Practice 10-5 equally flows from the requirement to not deny equal professional services to or be parties to a plan to discriminate. Specifically, disparaging a particular protected class is evidence of one's inability to treat them equally. In addition, bias against protected classes revealed through the public posting of hate speech could result in realtors not taking clients from certain protected classes or not treating them equally, which would lead to violations of the Fair Housing Act due to overt discrimination or disparate impact. Standard of Practice 10-5 says realtors must not use harassing speech, hate speech, epithets, or slurs. How are these terms defined? Definitions of these terms can be found online in the new Appendix 12 or Part 4 of the Code of Ethics and Arbitration Manual. This feels like a knee-jerk reaction to the social unrest going on throughout the nation. Aren't these policies just a reflection of the organization trying to be politically correct? The 2019 Newsday investigation of discrimination in real estate in Long Island, New York, and the events of 2020 have merely shed a light on discrimination that has persisted historically, but that many were not in a position to experience or see happen. The Code of Ethics has embodied principles of fair housing for decades, and as such, these policies are consistent with the spirit and intent of the code, as well as the guidance embodied in the Golden Rule. If you have more questions regarding the changes of the code to the Code of Ethics or the definition of the terms, please refer to the email you will be receiving during this meeting. Thank you all for taking the time to learn a little bit more about our Realtor Code of Ethics and how it strengthens the Realtor commitment to fair housing. Want to show your commitment to fair housing? Join our All In for Diversity campaign today. Thank you.